All right, our next speaker is the co-founder of the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, also known as CFACT, and currently serves as its president. Widely heralded as a leader in the free market think tank community in Washington, D.C., Mr. Rucker is a frequent guest on radio talk shows, written extensively in numerous publications, testified before legislative bodies, and has appeared in numerous media outlets such as Fox News, The Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, and many others. More recently, Rucker has gained acclaim for his activities fighting so-called renewable energy scams. His efforts include crafting model bills that have been adopted in over a dozen states, filing a lawsuit against America's largest offshore wind project in Virginia, and leading protests and grassroots opposition in communities across the nation. Some of his organization's activities have even been applauded by President Trump on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today in large part because of this gentleman and his organization and their willingness to come out here and to help us fight. Please give a really big, warm Oklahoma welcome for Mr. Craig Rucker.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Jim. Your check's in the mail. All right, friends, Oklahomans, thanks for taking a stand today. You know, we're at a rally here. We should be, cheering a little bit. So why don't we do something like, hey, hey, ho, ho, big wind has got to go. Ready? Hey, hey, ho, ho, big wind has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, big wind has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, big wind has got to go! Yeah! Fantastic. Well, as was said, my name's Craig Rucker. I serve as the president of CFACT, Committee for Constructive Tomorrow. We have for decades been working on the front lines to try and promote real environmental stewardship of the land, protect property rights, and press for policies that are good for both people and the planet. Now, we're here today for the same reason you kind of are, except it's a little more personal to you. You live in the area. But we want to stop, well, Big Wind has plans for your state. They want to blanket your beautiful Oklahoma with miles and miles and miles of wind turbines, right? That's what they're trying to do. And of course, we know who these characters are. Apex, right? RWE, all these big companies that stand to make millions, if not billions, off of you, the ratepayers. And of course, this is not going to be good for your property values, future. But we're going to stop it today. This is a start, not the end of our program. You know, I do a lot of traveling around and meet with communities across the country and trying to oppose these different projects, sometimes solar farms, sometimes wind farms. People often come to me and say, Craig, why are they putting these things in our community? And there's really two reasons. Number one, money. Of course, we've talked about that, right? And the reason you know this is if they stop getting those subsidies or special tax credits and perks, they disappear, right? So money's clearly a reason. But there is another reason, and I do want to leave this with you. There is kind of this thinking, it's kind of a deep green ideology that says that the way America's energy system is, the way we benefited and prospered is bad for the planet. That the type of electricity that we generate using fossil fuels, using hydropower, nuclear power, these things are destroying the earth. Okay, so I scratch my head at this one. We do a lot of traveling around the world. Maybe some of you have too. If you go to almost any country in the world, America has the cleanest air, cleanest water. Our forests are growing. We are the envy of the world in terms of good environment because we're prosperous. How are we prosperous? By these energy sources that give us cheap, affordable, reliable power. But even putting that aside, what's this notion of green wind energy as though it's good for the planet? Give me a break! All right, one thing is that green energy is diffuse, meaning you need lots of area to produce very little electricity. There's a project in Lincoln County, I'm told, that when fully developed, 120,000 acres is what they want to develop. You know that a typical, fossil fuel plant generating pretty much the same thing is 50, 100 acres versus 120,000 acres? What lives on those 120,000 acres? We do. But if it's green energy, they're also concerned about the critters, right? Well, we know from studies, any animal that lives, this is habitat for them. There's been studies showing pronghorn move their migration paths, that foxes and cougars and all of them don't hunt there anymore. But the species, of course, most harmed by this are our birds, which was talked about earlier by a representative from the Iowa Nation, and bats, things like that that are good for the ecosystem. According to the American Bird Society, something like 800,000 to 1 million birds get sliced and diced each year by wind turbines in this country. 100,000. We have a person on our staff, former DOE official, who's looked into this, and he said the real figure is probably closer to 4.5 million birds and bats that get sliced and diced each year. And we're not talking sparrows and pigeons. We're talking gold eagles, bald eagles, condors out in California, or you have here an endangered species like the whooping crane in Oklahoma, all endangered from these wind turbines. Crazy. Clean and green? I don't think so. So, my question to you is this clean energy? No! Okay, the impacts on people are also something to be upset about. You got what they call BSF. Wind energy is not your BFF, it's BSF, blade spinning frequency. That is, if you're sitting in your living room, you live near them, you see the sun coming down, and you get this flicker. You're like going back into the 1970s disco era, happening right in your room. Well, with people with motion sickness, this gets them really, really sick. Leave alone the fact that there are frequencies where the infrasound that can be made by them also can lead to health impacts. They're not good for people. It's an extremely expensive form of energy. How do we know that? Look at California, look at Australia, look at Europe. Wind energy country of the world, Denmark. They pay 35, 40 cents a kilowatt hour compared to 15 cents here in America. You want more and more wind? You're going to see your prices skyrocket and go really far up. Leave alone the fact that living next to these things are ugly. They're just plain ugly. They drive down property values. There are studies showing that from 10 to 40% drop in property values near homes that are by these wind power facilities. They're terrible. Well, I know I got a limited amount of time here, so I want to leave you with some encouragement. Everywhere big wind plants its flag, there's opposition, just like what we see in this crowd here today. They are on the defensive. I've locked horns personally with people up in Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey against the offshore wind projects there. There was an attempt by the Biden administration to put 1,500 of these things 30 miles off our coast, right in the migratory paths of 30 whale species, some of them critically endangered, like the North Atlantic right whale, of which there's only 350 left. They started clanging and banging in the ocean, doing pile driving. Massive beachings of whales going on up there. Well, we got a president that came in, signed an executive order his first week in office that halted all the new construction going on. We locked horns with people in Lava Ridge, Idaho. They had a massive wind farm going in there, not for Idaho, to ship it down to California. The president signed an executive order, that project's dead. All right. We're right now suing a major energy company in Virginia, Dominion Energy, and we are confident that we can stop that project, and there are others all the way across the country. So, cheer up. You can succeed. We're going to succeed right here in Oklahoma, and you are on the side of the angels on this one. So I just want to ask you a couple questions before I leave here. Do we want big wind coming into Oklahoma, driving down our property rights, and ruining our landscapes? No! Do we want big wind coming into Oklahoma and killing our birds and slicing and dicing our eagles? No! And do we want big wind coming into Oklahoma, driving up our electricity rates like that of California or in Europe, sky high? No! All right, thank you. Pleasure to be here. God bless Oklahoma.
Thank you so much, Craig.